Different TV producers and filmmakers have offered up their own takes on the spooky family created by cartoonist Charles Addams, and some have worked a lot better than others. Here then is every major Addams Family movie and TV series iteration, ranked in order from worst to best. The 2019 animated The Addams Family is everything no Addams Family project has ever been: loud, fast, bright, and moralizing. This movie feels less like an expansion of the Addams universe and more like a lesser Tim Burton animated project, or a knockoff of Adam Sandler's Hotel Transylvania movies. The characters are given an unnecessary and clunky origin story. After an angry mob breaks up the wedding of Gomez and Morticia because they're too weird, the loving couple runs away to New Jersey, with Thing in tow. They take up residence in an abandoned asylum where they recruit mental patient Lurch to be their butler. Flash forward into the future, and the Addams have lived in sad isolation for more than a decade. There's also an awkward plot about a reality TV host wanting to get rid of this family that isn't bothering anybody, and how Wednesday befriends that host's tween daughter. And of course, there's a lesson about how it's a good thing to be yourself. The new Addams Family inadvertently gives away its premise and its title. It's the same Addams Family as the 1960s sitcom, it's just new. It plays like a less-than-great eerie remake of its predecessor, with many of the actors not so much interpreting their characters, but imitating their counterparts from the 60s series.
Gomez, Mrs. Bell from the PTA just called me.
I hate obscene phone calls.
At least they had the good sense to bring in original Gomez, John Astin, as occasional character Grandpapa Addams. But his presence just reminded viewers of the greatness that once was. The only true innovation of the new Addams Family is that it seemed to take a cue from the early 90s Addams Family movies, and gave much more screen time to Wednesday and Pugsley. This early 90s animated cash-in on the popular live-action movies aired on ABC Saturday mornings, so it's obviously geared toward children. But the people who made it focused so hard on having it be squeaky clean that they lost the spirit of what makes the Addams Family special.
Those screams were half-hearted, and I didn't hear his usual joyous cackle.
Sure, the Addamses live in a creepy, shadowy mansion, and yes, Wednesday and Uncle Fester like to blow stuff up whenever they get the chance. But the show leans too heavily on the family's interactions with the outside world and its suffocating normalcy. At least the Addams Family, the animated series, restores and updates the 1960s sitcom version's iconic Snap Happy theme song, and draws inspiration from the rich, busy look of the 1991 Addams Family film. This first animated take on the Addams Family combines the charmingly grotesque look of Charles Addams' creations with the voices and vaudevillian interplay of 60s TV Gomez and Morticia, all mixed in with the trappings and cliches of 70s Saturday morning cartoons. That is to say, the animation is cheap and stilted, there are wacky animal sidekicks, and every joke is met with a braying laugh track.
That's odd! I never realized this was a music cue!
This Addams Family feels an awful lot like Scooby-Doo Where Are You? They even crossed over at one point, only it embraces the spooky instead of unmasking it. Like the Mysteries Incorporated gang, this version of the Addams Family also drives around endlessly, not in a van, but a creepy camper, which looks like they miniaturized their mansion and put it on top of a hearse. They cause a stir in a new location in every episode, and, true to Addams Family spirit, they're oblivious to how the way they do things is not the way the rest of the world does things. When Raul Julia, the actor who played Gomez Addams in the hit 90s films, passed away, the chance for a successful Addams Family trilogy seemed to be lost. What fans eventually got was Addams Family Reunion, a franchise reboot in the form of a direct-to-video movie. It doesn't stand up to the other films in its decidedly B-level production values. The plot is a little weak too, involving the Addamses attending the incorrect family reunion by mistake, and getting mixed up in a guy's killing for inheritance scheme. While it lacks a lot of the dark comedy and joyful playfulness of the two Addams Family movies that preceded it, it's agreeable and family-friendly, and the filmmakers wisely cast the great Tim Curry in the role of Gomez, while Daryl Hannah turns in a serviceable Morticia. There were a lot of weird sitcoms in the 60s, and many of them were built around fish-out-of-water scenarios. The Addams Family took a different approach: let the water come to the fish. The Addams lived in a gigantic 19th century mansion full of sentient plants, suits of armor, a lion, and more, enjoying each other's company and occasionally dealing with the stuffy local conservative figures who populated the generic town outside its doors. They also casually tossed off references to death, darkness, and the macabre, which certainly wasn't happening on Gilligan's Island.
This is going to be the greatest train wreck in railroad history. Gotta switch them onto the same track.
Morticia knits or paints while Gomez fences, checks his stocks, and deals mildly in the dark arts, which occurs between the couple's ferocious displays of affection. If Charles Addams' original creations were meant to be a thorough contrast to the strictures of modern life, the TV series helped get the point across. When the Addams Family made the leap to the big screen in 1991, all the Addams quirks and the franchise's tropes were amped up without taking it too far. Morticia is more elegant and enigmatic than ever, Gomez is bursting with a zest for life and death. Uncle Fester is downright frightening, and Wednesday is just casually, unflinchingly interested in torture and mayhem. These characters are allowed to finally embrace the behaviors and activities only hinted at in other Addams Family media, while the film's big budget affords a realistically rendered thing, which expressively darts around the Addams' gloriously well-appointed but decaying mansion. Moreover, the prevailing message of Addams Family shows of the past is more clearly conveyed in both the Addams Family and 1993's Addams Family values. The people in this family aren't the creeps. It's the modern world, with its forced cheerfulness and scams with a smile, that's truly villainous. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.